Hi guys, I am going to show you my $8.95 step back cupboard. I have some bragging rights today that I want to brag. I want to brag about my husband. I'm a little biased, but I feel my husband is very gifted and can take nothing and make something out of it. He has the ability to take what I envision in my head, and it's often scattered and comes in pieces, and he can pull it together and make it exactly like I see it. And so this video has been shot over a period of 3, 4, maybe 5 days. I was gathering up the footage because I knew what we were doing. The problem is, I think I've repeated myself a lot in a lot of the setups. I'm not sure. I haven't looked at the things I've shot yet, but I'm pretty sure that what I'm going to share with you at the beginning of the video is you're going to hear repeated. So please just ignore it. I try not to be too repetitive when I do these, and sometimes it just can't be helped, and this is one of those times. But so we had, when we moved, many of you that have followed us before our move know that we sold most of our furniture. And we had what I thought we had our house set up very cutely with primitive antiques, and I will put a video link to a home tour at the end of this video. But we had it set up pretty cute with some primitive antiques that we collected over the years. And when it came time to move, or getting close to time to move, when we were setting things up, we knew that we needed to sell our furniture for several reasons. One was financially. We could use the money to help bring this all to pass. There were things that needed to be done still before we made the move. The second was that most of our stuff, we had no idea how long we were going to be in the RV. So we were going to be putting most of our stuff into storage. And even when we knew we were going to get the cabin built, we also knew that our space was limited. So unless we wanted to make the cabin walls out of our cupboards, because we had a lot of primitive cupboards, it would have been difficult. So it was just best to sell. And during the whole process, when you move like this, when you get yourself set up and you're going to be going hundreds and hundreds of miles away from where you're at, I think there's a disconnect that needs to happen, especially if you are getting rid of most of your foundation. Now, please keep in mind, I'm a homemaker, all right? Aesthetics is very important to me to create a comfortable home. Now, that doesn't mean that I have to have new and stuff. That's not at all what I'm saying. But I have to have a comfortable environment for my family to walk into. So I had to totally disconnect because I knew we were going to be in piles, and we were going to be in confusion, and we were going to not have that feeling for a while. So I think the good Lord just gave me this separation. I had one viewer, when she found out that we sold most of our furniture, she was mourning for me. It was so funny because she said, I really feel a loss for you that you're not feeling. And it was true. I wasn't feeling that loss at the time. Now, we've been up here 3 years, and almost 3 years, and much of our stuff is still in boxes. It's no longer in storage. As soon as we got the cabin built, we got everything out. Stuff's been stuffed in the RV, stuff's been stuffed in the cargo trailer, stuff's been stuffed up in the upstairs. I've got piles in the corners just because I don't have a place for everything. And that is so important. But it's not been that important to the past couple years to me because we've had other things to settle in. And now we're at a phase in our life where we've got to get that feeling, that home feeling going again. Not that we haven't created a home, but it hasn't been, the feeling hasn't been the focus. And it started to shift to that. I have felt the Lord start to show me the importance of that again. And now it's at a time where I'm free to feel that. See, unless you've made a move like this, unless you have totally uprooted everything, I don't think, and started from scratch, okay? It's one thing to move and move into a place. It's another to move and have no place to move into. There's a whole jumble of things that happens externally and internally. And so now it's safe for me to start wanting to make things inviting again. And even with our walls not finished, even with so much left to be done, the finishing of an atmosphere is like major. And best as I've tried, it's still been difficult because we haven't had a place for everything. And this is where I'm going to explain this. So during these past couple years up here, we've had some crazy financial times. We don't share a lot of this stuff with you guys just because it's really not anything. I know a lot of channels do that, but that we're pretty personal. What we share, we try to be real, but we also think there are things that don't need to be discussed. And we've had some real financial challenges since we've been up here, but God is faithful, and you know, He's seen us through them all. But what I haven't been able to do is to even contemplate the thought of going out and buying things that we need, that we could get by without otherwise. And you know, a lot of this stuff that makes a home aesthetic feeling, you know, they don't always fall under a need, even though having a comfortable home, having an inviting home is a need. So that's when we have to kick in our creative side. And that's exactly what we did. I mean, we've done it over and over in the past, and with all the commotion going on, I haven't been able to let my mind do that. And that's where I'm saying that now I feel that freedom to do that. You know, I've always been a big advocate to make a home. I've talked about in a lot of videos that you don't need to have the latest and greatest. You do not need to spend a lot of money, but you do need to be willing to invest that time and that creativity when the time is right to create an atmosphere that invites people, that draws your family in, that makes them just walk in and go, it's good to be home. You know, you don't want a cold environment. You don't want an environment of chaos. You don't want dysfunction, and you don't have to have things perfect in order for things to be welcoming. I mean, that's part of the art of homemaking. That's part of, you know, being a Titus woman. To be content with what you have, but to make the most of it, instead of accepting what you have and seeing it as that's all you're ever going to get. I think as homemakers, we need to rise up, and we need to be willing to be proud of what's in our possession, and to not only be proud of it, but to make it excellent. And it doesn't matter what you have in your possession, but that you make it the best you can for your family. That is what matters. Most of us live an average life. Most of us are not going to have an open pocketbook to go do with what we want whenever we want to do it. We have to be that creative person and find that route that is pleasing and accomplishes the job. And I think that's one of those lost arts. That's an Oldsteader art, and it's a skill that needs to be resurfaced. So I'm encouraged every time I see somebody being creative. I'm encouraged every time that I hear people wanting to be creative, instead of rushing out to purchase whatever it is they need. So I came up with a plan, and Ron executed it, and for $8.95, the man made me a step back. The first thing I wanted a spot for was my cast iron. When we moved up here, we had quite an extensive cast iron collection. Some very old, some that the kids have gotten for me over the course of years for Christmas and birthdays and Mother's Days and stuff. And I like to use a lot of my cast iron, but since we've been up here, I've had it down to like just 2 particular pieces, and everything else has been put away. But unfortunately, when you move into this situation, oftentimes if you don't have a storage unit, or you don't have a secure place to store stuff, things can get compromised, and moisture got into my cast iron. So that was my first priority, and he got the cupboard built, and I've put my cast iron through the first wash. Some of it needs to be completely redone. We're going to have to we throw some of our pieces. I know there's all different types of ways. Vinegar, I've done pieces in vinegar. We've steel wooled them. Sometimes when they're really bad, what we do, and we find it best, is to stick them into hot coals. We'll let the fire die down and put them in hot coals, and that cleans them right up. You have to be careful. I've never had it happen, but I have been told by others that have done this that they've had pieces crack. Now, we've done a few pieces over the years, and I've never had any problems with it. So at any rate, so what you're going to see is some cast iron that looks pretty rusty, but it's actually not as bad as it looks. So I just really want to show off the cupboard. I hope you guys enjoy this video of the build out of some really unique materials, and we will talk soon. God bless. All right, so there is my $8.95 cupboard. It actually isn't even that much recently because we bought those doors quite a while ago for $5 at the Restore and hung on to them. When I saw them, I thought it was a style I really liked and grabbed them, thought we'd use them for something down the road. The top part is an old bookshelf, and they made that quite a while ago. Ron and the two little ones, Daddy, Zebulon, and Simeon, made this in 2016. Now it's going to be repurposed into that does say top, doesn't it? Into part of a step back that we need. And again, it will read Zebulon and Simeon.
Daddy?
And Daddy, 2019. And we used it as a bookshelf, but then we decided we needed it for something different. So he took it apart. The back is skid board. Where the $3.95 comes in is at the Restore recently. We got this old board, and he cut it into shelves. And it's fabulous. It holds the cast iron fabulously. The bottom part was an old dresser. We had for years and years and years and years. Ron's mom gave it to us, who had it for some time. I think she just got it from a garage sale, and obviously it was older. It was rickety, but we used it. And the doors match the sides of this dresser. And he used here the bars that originally had separated the drawers because our doors were slightly too short or too narrow. So he put the bars there to attach the doors to so that they would meet. And I think he just did a fabulous job. I was gonna really determine that when he started doing this that I would paint it because the top and bottom wouldn't match. All my cupboards need painted. It always seems like he gets them done and I start using them before we get that far. But I don't know. I like the rough sawn look on the top part, and I like the doors really, actually, even though they're not a perfect match, they match really well with the finish on the old dresser. So I think he did a great job, and I'm extra pleased with it. He's getting ready we're developing another cupboard from a bookshelf we have, and to use that for our canning jars and stuff. I don't have a good spot for my canning jars, so it's exciting. Okay, we're at the local Restore. We have a project that we need to do, but we are extremely limited on funds. So we need a couple of odds and ends. We're going to see if we can get them here. I need it for organization in the cabin because I don't have it and I need it desperately. We're going to see what we can find to do this. Is that the box I saw upstairs?
That's just this chunk of $3.50.
RJ do something like that?
RJ could do something with anything. How many times we find a board that's longer than or wider than 12 inches? Huh?
Not very.
That's like 13 and a half inches. An old board.